Hey everyone, I'm here with Adam Curry. Hey Adam.
Hello.
Hello. And Adam does all investment property in Cincinnati with Keller Williams. Adam and I also do a class on how to travel the world and increase your real estate business. So I feel like we're going to get into a little fight today on this topic, Adam.
Why?
Well, I know one of the ways that you were able to do that is through using your VA. So do you want to talk a little bit about how that process is for you and how you feel like you're getting bang for your buck?
Yeah. Well, I don't know why we're going to fight about this, but um,
I don't like VAs.
yeah, I didn't either up until maybe 2 months ago. But and that's not to say I didn't like them. In case Nishan or Deepak, you guys are watching, I do love you guys. I just wasn't the person. I wasn't the person to manage you. That's what the problem was.
Got it.
So, um, when it was back in May or June of 2018, I was traveling the world and selling real estate back in Cincinnati, Ohio, and I'd always loved this idea of getting a virtual assistant. I'd heard people had great success with it. And there's definitely things that you need to know going into it that I knew, but I didn't execute well.
All right.
So long story short, we hired them through Upwork. There was there's a program through Keller Williams that can teach you how to hire and effectively use a virtual assistant.
Oh, what's it called?
Look up Craig Goodliff.
Okay.
And VA. And he's a big agent, I think, out of Utah. And he has like 8 virtual assistants. Wow. It's nuts. So he actually came to our market center and taught the class, which was an 8-week course. He taught it all in one day.
Oh, that's a lot.
It's a lot. And took tons of notes. And then when I was away on my trip, I was in Barcelona, Spain. And I remember I started interviewing some of these potential virtual assistants, same way you would interview anybody else. And then once we narrowed it down to a few people, I brought on a team member, my team member, Kate, to help interview them as well. Okay. And we asked them questions. And after we got down to a few people, we chose one. And there were a bunch of tasks that we were having them do, like look at Craigslist, look at Zillow for sale by owners and stuff like that, and send them to us.
Your business was not just investment property, but it was also residential.
We were probably doing 25 to 30% single family residential at that point. In 19, it was 15%, and now it's 0. Those were
send all your residential stuff to us, Alan.
Yeah, absolutely. So we we recorded all of these tasks. We screen recorded ways to run performas, because we do a lot of rental property. We want to see how things are performing. Okay. I taught them how to send me inquiries from an investment site that we use. Just a lot of tasks that, we all know how to do, but they're not like our highest dollar activity.
Right. It's something that it's just very task oriented, right? Like it has a beginning and an end. They deliver the result.
Right. Exactly. And through finally going into my 6th year, people told me this a million times throughout my first 5 years, what your highest dollar activity, which is getting on the phone and finding leads and deals. This last 6 months, I finally realized this is my only thing I need to be doing.
You're hard-headed, man.
Dan, you were my coach. You told me this. All I need to do is get on the phone and go on appointment. Mm-hmm. But so the virtual assistant helps get a lot of those things that you shouldn't be doing off your plate. And all I can say is just be prepared. Like anything, it is not going to be an easy fix. You will have to fine tune it. And
how long did it take you to fine tune it?
I think right now we are just starting to really hum, and it's one of those things that it is cheaper because they are based out of India, and we pay about $5 an hour to these guys, and to them that's great money. Craig Goodliff would teach you what that is in comparable to a living wage, and it actually helps them.
Well, and because we traveled all around, we understand that the dollar is different and gets you different things depending on where you live too.
Exactly.
Well, okay,
So,
so you've had them for how long and you're just now fine tuning it, or feel like you guys have a system?
right, year and 9 months. In May will be 2 years, and we did a good job recording videos and teaching them tasks, but like those tasks didn't help like make their return on investment enough. Like the only thing we have them doing now is trying to get, basically I just try to get a response from a property owner. That's what I try to do. They're not selling. I don't know if I can say this or not. I mean, I hope what I'm doing is legal.
Yeah,
They're
I
not
think I'm sure it is.
they're not selling.
It's doing it
They're
on your
doing,
behalf, so it's fine.
yeah, all we're doing is looking at neighborhoods that we like with properties that we want to reach people, and we have a way to get their information, and they ask them, hey, are you the property owner of XYZ street? And once they respond yes, then they get pulled into our database and then go into like nurture mode. And
So you have two VAs that do this?
they both work under the same account, so it's not like I'm not managing two people.
Oh,
Deepak is the manager of their program, and Nishant works under him.
oh, got it. Okay. And so how many hours are they doing that for you?
Right now it's 20, and we are starting to see that like return on investment where we're getting ready to ramp it up and start trying to push them more to 40 hours a week.
I mean, I guess I have like a couple of questions. Like a year and a half or a year and 9 months or however long it took you to like get the system in place, how did you stay patient knowing that it was going to work? Like what happened?
Well, that was kind of where I was going a little bit ago. Like the $5 an hour thing, it's small enough where you're like, if you're doing well in business, you almost don't notice it, but it's there in the back, and
Right.
you're like kind of like looking at what they're doing, like, all right, I'm probably breaking even on this.
Yeah.
And then this year, as we're going into 2020, like I'm just I'm still selling, but my focus is more on making sure the team is running as efficiently as possible and everybody's doing business and
Right.
bringing value to the team. So I hired an executive assistant who's full-time physical in our office,
Mhm.
and you know I knew that I wasn't the person that was going to be able to oversee this to the level that she is, and now that is one of her daily primary goals, is to make sure that they are running the system the way that we want it. She's fine tuning it. We're sitting in and reporting to each other 2 to 3 times a week, seeing what needs to be done. There's things that I do to help make sure that we continue to feed the system,
Yeah.
but for the most part, they run it.
So are you planning on, as you increase your hours, are you adding additional tasks, or are they doing more of the same tasks?
More of the same tasks.
I think that's like where I had a little bit of trouble because I've like, I guess, tried virtual assistants a couple of times,
Uh-huh.
and I don't know, like you're very like I guess I'm process oriented too, but I don't know, there's something like different about you. Like you're more analytical for sure.
Yeah.
But I guess what I'm hearing you say is maybe like I wasn't patient enough to get through in order to see the return on investment on the task
Or
that I needed. Huh?
nice enough. I'm really
Yeah,
nice.
but I'm so nice.
I I let I knew that the reason that they weren't doing well was because of me. It was because of me. Where sometimes you're like, this isn't working. Screw it, you guys are fired.
What do you mean because of you? In what way?
Because I wasn't doing the oversight that the program has now. Like
Got
this is
it.
like really, probably at least 33% of my executive assistant Laquita's job is to oversee them and make sure they're doing it right, making sure like we're not pissing people off when they say take me off your list. We take them off the list when we and then once the leads come in, we disperse them amongst the
So
team.
you're
Like,
really paying more than $5 an hour because you're paying, a third
yeah,
of Laquita's salary, or I don't know how you pay her, but like a third of her fee goes to that too.
sure.
I just feel like, to me, it was like, then it ends up being a lot more. And at that point, I figure you can actually get like a person, like an American. Like one of the things that I was dealing with, and one of the things I noticed when we were traveling was the American mindset in problem solving is a lot different. Like even as simple as like when we would go out to a restaurant in like Thailand or whatever, you'd be like, hey, can I substitute, you know, whatever for whatever? And they're like, no. And you're like, well, I mean, you have it. Like, why can't I substitute? And so like, that's what I was running into having a BA. It was like, we can do this box of things and this like task, but it has to be really specific. And if there's some kind of gap, like they couldn't make the leap to figure it out.
Yep. Yeah, and I think that's a good point, which is part of the reason. Like when we get the response from the seller, we take it out of their hands. We don't give them anything else from there. It's hard enough when properties are owned in an LLC or a personal name. Like our messaging changes just a little bit, and we have to really teach them like this is a business, this is a person. When it's a person, you say this. When it's a business, you approach them saying this. So that's we don't leave a lot of room for them right now. Maybe over time we will, but and that's also another reason why I don't think it was intentionally we're doing this, but we just saw like this is where we can get a better return on investment is by doing more of this. So Robbie on our team, we were sitting and having a meeting the other day, like just talking about how I tend to like to try a lot of things, and I took that to heart. Like instead of trying a lot of things, let's like narrow our focus and do the things we know that work. Let's do them better.
Yeah, and more efficiently.
And that's
so even when you factor in, the cost of the virtual assistant and the cost for Liquida to manage them, you're still getting a return on investment versus like having somebody that's like not necessarily local, but somebody that can, you know what I mean? I don't know how to say it, but like somebody who can problem solve where it's not as much hand holding that would take less of Liquida's time, but maybe more expensive.
I'm trying to do some math real quick. I'm not going to tell you what the number.
No, that's fine. I mean, and it can just be like your gut feeling. I mean, you look at your numbers often, so that's because if you could get it, I wonder what the balance is. Like if you could get Liquida's time down to 10% of oversight of a person, but the admin assistant or whatever you want to call them, virtual assistant gets paid a little bit more, but they're also like can do more. Mm-hmm. Like where is that balance?
Yeah. So I would expect, I mean, like this is something as we're still going into 2020, like how many deals do we expect to come from this? So like to date, like we just closed a deal at the end of 2019 that came from like their initial prospect, their touch to them.
Okay.
So anyways, that's a great thing that I need to put on my list to look at. So up to this point, we were talking about like, is the time that's invested into this program, paying off? Like right now, it's a great point. So for the past like month or two, we've been shifting to where a lot of Liquida's focus is managing them. So that does increase the amount of money that costs now. So we need to look at that a little closer. Before that, if I looked at just what the VAs cost,
but that's because you weren't doing it. So the value of paying for that task for the task to be done is much higher. But now that the task is being done and there's more oversight, I imagine until like when and how does it flip to being less oversight, more tasks, and then it makes sense again. But there's probably, I wonder if we could get Craig to comment on this because I know he's probably dealt with it.
Sure. Yeah, I think so. I mean, so I just did some math. I think, leading up to the point before, Liquida was overseeing them at a high rate like she is right now, I probably had spent maybe about $7,500 on them in a year and a half for easy math. And I know we've closed enough deals to cover that. So maybe we're plus like 2,000 or 3,000 But the amount of time that it took me, like up to that point, to create the 30 or 40 videos that we have, Kate created a few videos too, other people interacting with them, like, that is not an ROI we're probably looking for. We're probably looking for more something like 10 times, I think,
Right.
in that. So now with Laquita in there, it is something when the response comes in, it's something we are tagging in our, we have things called a pulse. So each property is a pulse. And then that is, all right, lead from virtual assistant.
But I think that what you're saying is really interesting. It's a very specific set of tasks. And I think that that's what that's kind of what we're looking for. Hey, Kate, sorry, can you hold on a minute? That's like, if you're going to use a virtual assistant, that may be where that key to the ROI is. Just like,
Yeah.
but it has to be, and that's the thing I struggle with. Like, it has to be super specific, and that's where you're much better at it. Because I'm more like big picture, broad. Like, I don't care how you do it, just find the end result. And so,
Right.
like, our communication and like, this is how you do it was not good. Whereas you're like, this is step by step, and here's the result.
Yeah, Laquita's got some really good stuff going where, she's making it, she's taking the thinking out of it for them, and it is more about just stay in your lane, do this, when this happens, do that, don't do anything else. There were little things like the font was off when they would be sending texts or emails. That would drive me nuts. I was like, this looks like a robot. If the font doesn't match up, so like that's something. And,
right. Well, I think that's really helpful. I really appreciate you coming on and like kind of helping me better understand. And now I get it. Now I know why I wasn't successful with virtual assistants. But I'm so glad that you are. Congratulations.
We'll check in. We should check in 3 or 6 months too, because I'm excited to see what else comes from this. Because
I imagine that it will like just skyrocket once you get it figured out and once you know your numbers and know like how much time. Yeah, I'm interested. That'll be cool. I'll put it on my calendar.
All right.
Thanks,
Cool.
Adam.
Thanks. See you guys.